What's up, guys?
You know what roster move you're going to make for Reuben?
Yeah, Tobin. I don't know if it's officially been done, but I know it has to by 1, so should be in a minute.
So with Reuben just coming back into the fold, where is he at physically, mentally, ready to go?
He seems great mentally. I'll find out physically. He's been away 2 weeks, but I'm pretty optimistic he's going to be all right physically, but we'll see out on the field today.
What have you guys missed from him on defense these last 2 games?
Reuben's one of our best players. I think he plays the position very well. Everyone knows how good of a tackler he is, but he's also good in coverage. He can blitz the quarterback. He can do a lot of things. So just having his presence out there, just from a leadership standpoint, guys gravitate to him, and we really enjoy having him around.
Is this game important to have that versatility, considering how many weapons the Chiefs have?
Yeah, of course. The more good players we can have out there, the more it'll help us. So, and Reuben's a very good player, so I'm very excited to have him out there.
You said the other day you wanted to wait and see how everyone is physically before you figure out who your starters are. Is there a part of you, though, that's interested to see Reuben and Fred together, just given what they bring to the table?
Yeah, and also I'd like to see Malcolm too. We haven't got to see that either. So, if I knew what way we were going to go this week, I wouldn't tell you guys. But I do mean I don't know yet. We got Reuben, who hasn't been here 2 weeks. Today's going to be Malcolm's first day of full practice. So we want to see how all those guys do, and it'll be a tough decision at the end of the week, but a tough decision that I'm happy to have to make.
Is the plan to play all 3 of them together at some point?
We don't have the plan yet. We got to see how they are, how they play, and the plan is to do whatever we think gives us the best chance to win, and hopefully we'll be able to make a better guess at that decision these 3 days of practice.
What's Marquise's status?
He's going to be limited today. Expecting him to go some, but he's still limited.
Now that you've had time to evaluate a little bit the 6 sacks, is there a consistent theme? Was it the coverage sacks, or is there something you saw consistently?
No, it wasn't consistent. I think it was a little bit of what I said a couple of days ago, I think. There's times we didn't get open fast enough, and there was times when guys don't get open fast enough, you'd like quarterback to throw it away, which I think could have happened on a couple of them. But there was a couple that didn't. He's waiting on a guy to get him a chance, what you should do, and someone got loose. There's a couple that guys got through there too quick. So, and then there's some where we got to give them a better chance for guys to get open with play calls. So it's all 3 of those things combined.
Right guard's kind of an anonymous position, and I feel like most 49er fans don't quite understand what Mike Person did on Sunday. Can you talk about how important it was, how impressive it was that he played in that game?
Yeah, it was unbelievable what Mike Persons did. He told us all week he was going to play, and we didn't take him that seriously because we didn't think he should be able to. And then when he came out there on Friday and we worked him out, he showed us that, and he surprised us because he showed that he had a possibility to make a game-time decision. And then when we worked him out on game day, he looked good. But you always worry with that. I've been through that before. Guys can look good when we're holding bags and stuff, and they're doing it on our line coaches they're big, but they're not like D linemen. You don't know how it's going to go through the game, if it only lasts a quarter and stuff. And I know he was battling through it. Not only did he make it through the whole game, but he played at a very high level, which it was very impressive.
If you didn't have him, how much would that have limited your offense? Would you have been able to run right as effectively?
You think about that stuff sometimes in the game. You don't know how the fronts are going to be. When we run outside zone to the left, it ends up behind the center, which makes it on the right. I'd say more than 50% of the time. You run tight zone to the right, it ends up on the left about 80% of the time. So you don't know how to do that stuff. So just as a coach, you try to control it a little bit, but it's guessing a lot. So you end up just going with the game plan and seeing how it works.
A lot of people say this is a copycat league. Where does Andy Reid rank in terms of, or what kind of figure is he in terms of how much his systems over the years have been replicated, and how much has he influenced you in your offense?
Just watching Andy for a long time, he always has some neat, cool things. I don't know where they come from. He's in there looking up a lot of stuff because they do some unusual things. Sometimes I'm predicting it came from a high school team, maybe a college team. They know how to spread the field. They know how to run all those jet sweeps and do all the RPOs, all those things like that. They have the basic stuff they've been doing for a long time, which is their normal drop back game and stuff. But over these last 4 years or so, they've really added an element of the misdirection and stuff, and it's been an issue, not just and not just because of the plays, but the people with the plays. They have the speed at every angle to run those things and really put defenses in a bind. Because if you hesitate with a 4-3 receiver and they have 3 of them, that is a huge issue. And if you just play all the 4-3 receivers all day, they got a pretty good back and a pretty good tight end who can get after you also.
And with Pat, I think you guys met with him before the draft. How difficult is it to evaluate somebody coming from that offense, and how surprised or not surprised are you to see him be so successful early with Andy?
It is tough to evaluate. I mean, you can evaluate talent, and he has a ton of that. You can evaluate the person who we loved, handled himself great, seems very intelligent, seems like a very good kid, and everyone can see his arm strength, everyone can see the ability, but it's tough because in a lot of those systems, not just there, you don't get to see everyone really play the position, just going through progressions and everything like that, staying in the pocket all the time. And now we got 2 games of him, and he's played unbelievable. He's made some real big plays. With the talent that he has, with the talent that he has around him, with the system that he has, it doesn't surprise me.
When we talked to Andy earlier today, he was talking about the value for Pat sitting last year and watching Alex Smith. This guy who's been around a long time, just in a general sense, do you think it's more valuable, or is it dependent on that particular quarterback and how much he takes in from
Yeah, I think both. I think it's dependent on every situation's different. Sometimes it's about the person and what their personality is, and sometimes it's about the team. Some guys need to get in there and play, whether they succeed or they don't succeed. They learn from every situation. Some guys need some early success to give them the confidence to lead them to continue and to be better. So I think you always got to look into the person and how you think what's best for them. But you also got to look at the type of team you have, which are other choices at quarterback, and how good people are around him to where if you do put a guy in, what are his chances of succeeding?
Matt Breida is the leading rusher in the NFL right now. Does that make you rethink his role at all? And if he became more of a featured back, is he kind of durable enough to be that kind of guy all season?
Yeah, I believe he is. But, we're 2 games into this. I hope that continues. That'll be great. But, our whole thing with those guys is, they both are 2 different types of runners. And I think that's what they pair well together. They both have 2 different styles, and they're both 2 guys that we believe who run the ball well. Breida was great 2 days ago in terms of we gave him a couple good lanes, and he didn't just take that and make an explosive. He made it into a touchdown, and that really helped us in that game big time. But, that's going to be up for debate, or whoever's going into the game as the lead back. It's going to depend a lot on the first play of the game. It'll depend on how series are going, what fronts they're playing. But we've got 2 guys we believe in, and I think, like I said a few days ago, I know there's going to come a time where we're going to need a 3rd guy also.
Is there anything you can draw from week 1 before you go into Arrowhead, whether it's silent counts? Imagine the script has to be a little bit similar in terms of how you go about it.
Yeah, you got to definitely take into account of the noise. I haven't been in Arrowhead for a non-preseason game in a long time, but I grew up going to a lot of games there. I always used to think was the loudest place in the league. I know Seattle and stuff with their acoustics can get pretty loud and stuff, but just for the older stadiums and everything, that was always the loudest one to me growing up from the outside. And when those fans are going, which I know they will be with the team that they have, it's as tough of a place to play as any place.
Get back to linebacker, just with Warner, the playing time, the responsibility he took on when Reuben was out, how much does that kind of accelerate his growth, do you think? How does it set him up now if he ends up playing alongside Reuben a little bit maybe?
It's good. I mean, he's got 2 games under his belt, and that was the position he was going to play regardless, because we plan on putting Reuben at the other. But for him to get out there and do that for 2 games, so if he's paired out there with Reuben, it's nice that it's not his first game. It'll be Reuben's first one back if that's the way we decide to go. And I know Reuben will be amped up and ready to go, and hopefully the guy next to him will be a little calmer.
How do you balance when you're working with Jimmy, a guy who's only had 9 starts and working through some stuff, with also being a guy who was able to do what he was able to do at the end of last year and got the big contract, and the balance between those 2 things? How do you deal with it?
I just try not to overreact to anything. I mean, it's a limited sample size, and we know how good Jimmy can play. I mean, we have seen how good he can play. I think everyone can see, and we do know how talented he is. But that's why I don't jump to any conclusions after a game or anything. Each week's going to be a different story. And if I answer everything pretty directly on what happened in one game, that might not be the case the next game. Every week's a different week, and Jimmy has the ability to do everything and to be very good, and he has shown that. But hasn't played a lot of football. This is going to be a long year. We're 2 games into this, and some games are going to be really good, some aren't, and some are going to be right in the middle. And I think every time that when you do have the success that Jimmy had last year, when you do get that big contract off of limited sample size, I think when he does really good, I think people are going to make a little bit too big a deal of it. And I think when he doesn't do really good, I think we're all going to make a little bit too big a deal of it also. So I try to stay just even keel with it, balanced, and just try to continue to coach him.
Person's played for. Go ahead, Carl. Eric.
Yeah, in week 1, obviously, Bourne runs around, it's a pick 6, and then, on Sunday, Pettis runs around. It could have been even more disastrous play.
Yeah.
I guess as a coach, those are 2 young guys, so do you say, well, we really got to make sure we know what we're doing? Do you have to, simplify things, or how do you respond to that?
Yeah, you got to make sure people know what they're doing, and you hope they learn that just simple mistakes can cost you a game. A number of things cost us that Minnesota game, so I'll never put it just on one play. And if we would have lost that game versus Detroit, it would have been a number of things, but both of those would have been a huge factor, and that's for guys to learn. Obviously, if that happens too much, then they can't be out there. But they are guys we believe in. They're guys that we think can help us win. I know Bourne did that for us and came a long way at the end of last year. And I know Pettis has made some real good plays for us in these last 2 games. But neither of them have been perfect, just like the rest of our team and coaches. And we just got to make sure that we do better and not let that happen again.
Person's played for 6 teams. He played for you twice. What has drawn you to him, and how has bouncing around the league helped him grow?
I had him in Atlanta for a year, I think like 4 games or something. We brought him there to work as a center for us, and we ended up, the center that we had, we ended up letting go with some injury stuff, and we went with Person, and he did a real good job for us at center all year. I think he played in 15 games for us, and I felt like he was good enough for us to win with at center. And then we ended up getting Alex Mack, so that made us move on from that. And I just know Person's a guy who has the talent to do what we want, to reach people and run with people in our run game. He's got the talent and the toughness and the mental toughness over a full game to pass block very well. And he's been around a lot, and he's a survivor, and he finds a way to play. We didn't bring him in here thinking he was going to be our starting right guard. We came in here knowing we had a very good player who could help out of a lot of positions, similar to how Zane did for us last year. And he came here, and he's a better player now than he was a few years ago, and he earned it and played that way all training camp, and he had a very unfortunate injury, so I wasn't expecting him to look that great on Sunday. But like I said earlier, he did a very good job.
A bunch of kickers missed key kicks over the weekend. Meanwhile, your kicker set a franchise record for consecutive field goals. What kind of peace of mind does a guy like Robbie Gould give?
Oh, it's been great. You get scarred over the years and stuff. I used to want to go for it every single time because it's just whatever your experiences are. And I've had some bad experiences. It was pretty good in Atlanta. Matt Bryan did a real good job. But earlier on in career, I just want to go for it because I was afraid we weren't going to make that field goal unless we were inside the 20. Now with Robbie, it's for good reasons. He's made me very confident in it. He makes it majority of the time. How many ever in a row that is, it's a record, so that's pretty dang good. And it's nice that I don't have to sit there and watch it all the time wondering. Half the time I miss it because I'm just assuming it's good, and I'm starting to study the pictures and talk to players about the series that just happened and why we didn't move the chains on 3rd down the play before.
Who's your least favorite kicker?
I'll say someday.
Speaking broadly, I mean, your corners are more known for their length and physicality and things like that. What's the key when you go up against an offense that has so much speed like Kansas City?
They have speed and they're very good, and the whole thing is being sound and not giving them freebies. I mean, when you mess up something and they got a big arm quarterback and they got speed all over and they got good players there, they'll score fast. You get a guy out of position, it's not usually an explosive, it's a touchdown. And if they get a bunch of easy touchdowns and stuff, like I think they have a little bit, the score is going to be what you guys have seen. You got to make those guys earn it. You got to make them work. You got to make them. You can't give them freebies, and that's the key when you have explosive, talented players.
All right.
Thanks, guys.